Gripping the steering wheel, as I speed down a midnight highway, I can't help but wonder, could I have held on to the ones I left behind? Hidden behind the six-figure salary and the glitz, I'm searching for an escape route, one that doesn't have a map. But here are the real questions. Why, after having it all, did this overwhelming emptiness take over my life? How exactly did chasing ambition leave me completely alone? And where does this aimless journey actually end? Wait until you hear my raw confession at the end of this story. Only then will you understand why I'm never coming back. Hi everyone, I'm Emma. Let's peel back the layers and dive deep into the real story hidden behind the glamour. It's 6:45 p.m. The GPS on my dashboard says I'm 20 minutes away from home, but I haven't moved in 10. I'm sitting here, trapped in the gridlock of downtown traffic, surrounded by a sea of red brake lights that blur into long, bloody streaks through the rain on my windshield. My hands are gripping the leather steering wheel of my SUV, gripping it so hard my knuckles have turned white. To anyone looking into my car from the outside, I probably look like the poster girl for the American dream. I'm driving a luxury car. I'm wearing a trench coat that costs more than my parents' first car. On the passenger seat, there's a lukewarm, venti Starbucks cup with a lipstick stain on the rim and a leather briefcase filled with contracts that prove I am important, that I matter, that I made it. But inside this climate-controlled, noise-canceling steel bubble, I feel like I'm screaming. And the scariest part is, I don't even open my mouth. It's funny how the mind works when you're forced to stop. When the constant motion of the hustle, the emails, the Zoom calls, the fake smiles over brunch finally pauses, that's when the ghosts come out. I look out the window at the city skyline. The skyscrapers are piercing the clouds, lit up like Christmas trees. They look majestic, powerful, but from down here, they just look like bars of a giant golden cage. Lately, this feeling, it's been sneaking up on me. It hits me in the middle of a board meeting, or while I'm waiting for the elevator to my penthouse, or right now, staring at the bumper of a taxi in front of me. It's a whisper that starts in the back of my head and travels down to my chest, tightening around my heart until it's hard to breathe. The whisper says, "Is this it, Emma? Is this really all there is?" I lean my head back against the headrest and close my eyes, and suddenly, I'm not in this car anymore. I'm thinking about hands, specifically the hands I let go of. I think about David. It's been, 5 years? I remember the night we broke up. It wasn't a fight. There was no screaming, no throwing things. It was just quiet. I remember telling him that I needed to focus on my career, that I had this internship in New York that I couldn't pass up, that our timing was just off. I remember the look in his eyes. It wasn't anger, it was disappointment. He didn't try to stop me. He just nodded, let go of my hand, and walked away. If I could go back, if I could transport this version of myself, the one with the bank account and the emptiness, back to that night, would I grab his hand? Would I tell him that a corner office isn't worth coming home to a dark apartment? And it's not just him. It's Sarah, my best friend from college. We used to promise each other we'd travel the world in a beat-up van. We were going to see the northern lights. We were going to get tattoos in dive bars in New Orleans. Where is she now? I don't know. I think she lives in Denver. I stopped calling her 3 years ago because I was too busy climbing a ladder that leans against the wrong wall. Now, I only see her life through the filtered square of Instagram. She looks happy, real happy, not the curated, aesthetic happiness I post, but the messy, genuine kind. I open my eyes, the traffic light is still red. These what ifs, they are dangerous. They are like quicksand. You dip a toe in and suddenly you're sinking. What if I hadn't taken that job? What if I had stayed in my hometown? What if I had forgiven that one mistake instead of holding onto my ego? This week has been a blur of these thoughts. Just yesterday, I was standing in my kitchen. It's a beautiful kitchen, marble countertops, stainless steel appliances that I barely used. I was staring at a glass of wine, and I felt this sudden, overwhelming urge to just break it, to smash the glass against the pristine white floor just to feel something real, just to hear a sound that wasn't the hum of the refrigerator or the silence of my own thoughts. I didn't do it, of course. I drank the wine, I washed the glass, I went to bed. I did what responsible, successful women do. We hold it together. But how long can you hold your breath before your lungs explode? I look to my right. There's a family in the car next to me. An old sedan, rusted around the wheel wells. The dad is driving, looking tired. The mom is in the passenger seat, turning around to hand a juice box to a toddler in the back. They are laughing. I can't hear them, but I can see it. The dad smiles, a genuine, tired, loving smile. They probably have debt. They probably worry about rent. They probably don't have a portfolio of stocks. But they have a destination. They have someone waiting to catch the juice box. I look away. It hurts too much to watch. My phone buzzes on the console. A text from my assistant. Reminder, 8 a.m. conference call with the London team. Don't be late. I stare at the screen. The light from the phone illuminates the dashboard. Don't be late. I am always on time. I am always prepared. I am always perfect. And I am so tired. It's not a physical tiredness. It's not something a weekend at a spa can fix. It's a weariness of the soul. It's the exhaustion of playing a character named Emma, who has her life together, while the real me is screaming behind the curtains, begging for the show to end. The traffic starts to inch forward. The red lights reflect on the wet asphalt like blood in the water. I press the gas pedal just a little. The car moves forward, smooth, silent. My apartment is 2 miles away. I know exactly what awaits me there. The doorman will nod and say, "Good evening, Miss Emma." I will take the elevator to the 14th floor. I will unlock the door. The air will smell like expensive vanilla candles and loneliness. I will take off my heels, massage my aching feet, order takeout that I won't finish, and scroll through Netflix for an hour before passing out, only to wake up and do it all over again. The routine, the loop, the golden cage. But then, something happens. Maybe it's the rain, maybe it's the song that just started playing on the radio, some old acoustic track that sounds like nostalgia and heartbreak wrapped together. Or maybe I've just finally reached the breaking point. I'm approaching the exit that leads to my apartment, the exit I take every single day for the last 4 years. The blinker is on, the arrow is flashing green on my dashboard. Click, clack, click, clack. My hands are trembling. I look at the exit ramp. It looks like a mouth waiting to swallow me back into my life. And then I look straight ahead. The highway stretches out into the dark, past the city limits, past the suburbs, into the unknown, into the places where the streetlights end and the stars begin. My heart starts hammering against my ribs. It's a terrifying rhythm. Thump, 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 thump. What if I didn't turn? The thought is insane. It's reckless. It's everything I'm not supposed to be. What if I just kept driving? What if I didn't go home tonight? What if I didn't log into the London call tomorrow? What if I just let the car keep rolling, past the exit, past the skyline, past the life I spent 10 years building? The exit is coming up, 50 yards. My breath catches in my throat. I can feel the sweat on my palms. This is it. This is the moment where I usually turn the wheel, go home, and accept my fate. But tonight the air feels different. Tonight the silence in the car feels heavy with unsaid words. I think of David's hand slipping away. I think of Sarah's laugh. I think of the little girl I used to be, who wanted to be an explorer, not a CEO. 30 yards. My foot hovers over the brake. Turn, my brain screams. Turn, Emma. Go home. Be safe. Be responsible. But my heart is whispering something else entirely. It's whispering a word I haven't let myself feel in years. Run. The blinker is still clicking. Click, clack, click, clack. 10 yards. I tighten my grip on the wheel. I stare at the split in the road. To the right, safety, comfort, the cage. Straight ahead, darkness, uncertainty, freedom. I take a deep breath, filling my lungs with the recycled air of the car. And for the first time in my life, I don't listen to my brain. I don't hit the brake. I hit the gas. The car surges forward. I watch the exit ramp blur past me on the right. I watch the familiar street signs disappear in the rearview mirror. I didn't turn. I missed my exit. No, I didn't miss it. I skipped it. A shockwave goes through my body, half terror, half electric thrill. I just drove past my life. I am officially off script. My phone buzzes again. Probably another reminder. Probably my mom checking in. I reach over, pick up the phone, and without looking at the screen, I hold down the power button. Slide to power off. The screen goes black. The connection is cut. Now it's just me, the rain, and the headlights cutting through the night. The city is fading behind me, shrinking into a cluster of glowing embers. I don't know where I'm going. I don't have a bag packed. I don't have a plan. I am driving a luxury SUV in a trench coat with nowhere to go. And as the speedometer climbs and the city lights vanish, a strange, terrifying sound fills the car. It takes me a moment to realize what it is. I'm laughing, and tears are streaming down my face at the same time. I'm terrified. I'm absolutely out of my mind. But for the first time in years, I feel like I just woke up. The road ahead is dark. The GPS is recalculating, confused, trying to spin me back around. Make a U-turn, the robotic voice says. I reach out and shut the audio off. There are no U-turns tonight. I press my foot harder on the gas. The engine roars, a beast waking up from hibernation. This isn't a commute anymore. This is an escape. 70 miles an hour, 80, 85. The city is gone. It didn't happen all at once. It was a slow surrender. First, the skyscrapers turned into shorter office parks. Then the office parks turned into strip malls with neon signs for 24-hour gyms and fast food chains. And now there's just darkness. The streetlights have stopped. The only thing illuminating the world in front of me are my high beams, cutting 2 cones of white light into the black void. I am driving north, or maybe west. Honestly, I haven't looked at a compass. I'm just following the asphalt ribbon of the interstate. My phone is still off, tossed onto the passenger seat like a dead brick. Every few minutes, I glance at it, expecting it to magically turn itself on and scream at me. Emma! The presentation! The London team! Your mother! But it stays black. It stays dead. And the silence coming from that device is louder than the engine. My heart is still racing, but the panic, that sharp electric terror that hit me when I first skipped the exit, is starting to shift. It's morphing into something else, something dangerous. Euphoria. I reach up and pull the hair tie out of my hair. My boardroom bun, tight and severe, falls apart. I shake my head, letting my hair fall over my shoulders. It feels heavy and wild. I roll the window down, just a crack. The air rushing in isn't the stale, exhaust-filled air of the city. It's cold. It smells like damp earth, pine trees, and impending winter. I take a deep breath, filling my lungs with it. It burns a little, in a good way. It wakes me up. I feel like a fugitive. It's funny. I've watched movies like Thelma Louise or Into the Wild, and I always rolled my eyes. I used to think, that's not realistic. People don't just leave. Who pays the bills? Who feeds the cat? Who explains the gap in the resume? I was so practical, so logical, so dead. But now, gripping this wheel, I understand. It's not about logic. It's about survival. Not survival of the body. My body was fine in the penthouse, eating organic salads and sleeping on Egyptian cotton. This is survival of the spirit. I look at the dashboard clock, 10:15 p.m. In my old life, the life I lived 3 hours ago, I would be in bed right now. I would be checking emails one last time, the blue light of the screen burning my retinas. I would be worrying about the yen versus the dollar. I would be planning my outfit for tomorrow, the gray blazer or the black one. Now, I am hurtling through the dark in a luxury SUV that suddenly feels like a spaceship. I press a button on the console and the sunroof slides open. The noise of the wind gets louder, a roar that drowns out my thoughts. I look up for a split second. No stars yet, just clouds, but I know they are there. I start to imagine myself differently. In my head, I'm not driving this pristine, leather interior car. In my head, I'm in a beat-up 1960s convertible. Maybe a Mustang. The paint is peeling. The seats are cracked. I'm wearing denim, not silk. I have a cigarette dangling from my lips, even though I've never smoked a day in my life. It's the cinematic fantasy, right? The Abbas Kiarostami film playing in my head. The idea that if we just drive far enough, the scenery will fix us. That if we go to a remote village, the simplicity of the people there will somehow cure our complex, modern depression. It's a cliche. I know it's a cliche. But God, I need that cliche right now. I need to believe that there is a version of the world where time moves slower, where people look you in the eye instead of looking at your LinkedIn profile. I pass a green highway sign. Scenic overlook 2 miles. I don't stop. I don't want to stop. If I stop, the momentum dies. If I stop, the reality will catch up to me. The reality that I am a 30-something executive having a nervous breakdown on I-95. So I keep driving. I reach over to the radio. I've been driving in silence for a while, but now I need noise. I need a soundtrack for this madness. I spin the dial. Static. Pop music. Static. A religious sermon. Static. Then a guitar riff cuts through. Classic rock. It's Fleetwood Mac. Go your own way. I let out a short, dry laugh. The universe has a sense of humor. I turn the volume up, way up. The bass vibrates in the door panels. You can go your own way. Go your own way. I start singing. At first I'm just humming. Then I'm mouthing the words. And then I'm screaming them. I am screaming the lyrics at the windshield, at the empty road, at the invisible audience of trees whizzing by. Loving you isn't the right thing to do. My voice cracks. I'm not a singer. I sound terrible, but it feels amazing. My throat hurts. My chest heaves. I am releasing years of polite silence, years of yes, sir. And of course I can handle that, and I'm fine, really. I am not fine, and I am going my own way. But as the song fades out and the DJ comes on with a low, soothing voice talking about the weather in some county I've never heard of, the adrenaline starts to dip. And when the adrenaline dips, the memories creep in. The road stretches out, endless, straight, hypnotic. The white lines dash past like a metronome. Dash, dash, dash. It puts me in a trance, and in this trance, I see faces. I see my mother. She's probably calling me right now. She worries. She thinks my success is fragile, like a glass vase that will shatter if I stop polishing it. If she knew I was out here, driving to nowhere, she'd have a heart attack. Emma, be reasonable, she'd say. Think about your 401k. I see my colleagues, the sharks in suits. They're probably already sensing blood in the water. Where's Emma? She missed the call. She's slipping. Maybe we can take her office. Let them take it. Let them have the mahogany desk and the ergonomic chair. Let them have the stress ulcers and the insomnia. And then I see him. The phantom in the passenger seat. It's not David this time. It's someone else. Someone I haven't thought about in a long time. Maybe because it hurts too much. It's Mark. We met during my junior year abroad. He was a photographer. Reckless, messy, beautiful. He lived out of a backpack. He didn't care about money. He cared about light. He would wake me up at 4 a.m. just to watch the sunrise over a bridge, shivering in the cold, telling me that this was the only currency that mattered. I left him. Of course I left him. He didn't fit into the plan. You can't build a corporate empire with a guy who chases sunrises and forgets to pay rent. I told him I needed stability. He looked at me with those sad, knowing eyes and said, Emma, you're building a castle, but you're forgetting to put in any windows. It's going to be dark in there. He was right. It's so dark in the castle. I wipe a tear from my cheek. I didn't realize I was crying again. The wind dries it instantly. The road is getting narrower now. The interstate has turned into a state highway. 2 lanes, one going forward, one going back. The trees are taller here, crowding the road, creating a tunnel of shadows. I'm getting tired. My eyes feel gritty. The caffeine from the Starbucks cup 6 hours ago has worn off, leaving behind a jittery exhaustion. My shoulders ache from clutching the wheel. I need to stop, not to turn back, just to breathe, just to prove to myself that I exist outside of the car. I see a faint glow on the horizon. It's not a town. It's too small for that. It's a cluster of yellow, hazy lights standing alone in the darkness. As I get closer, the shapes form. A tall sign buzzing with a faulty neon letter. A gas station. And next to it, a low, rectangular building with wide windows, steaming up from the inside. A diner. It looks like something out of a painting. Nighthawks by Edward Hopper. Isolated. Timeless. My brain, the logical, terrified part, starts screaming again. Don't stop there. It's safe in the car. Keep driving until you find a Marriott or a Hilton. Somewhere with a concierge. Somewhere safe. But the other part of me, the part that sang with Fleetwood Mac, the part that remembers Mark's sunrises, is pulled toward that light like a moth. I want to see who is awake at this hour in the middle of nowhere. I want to see faces that don't know who I am. I want to be a stranger. I slow down. The gravel crunches loudly under my tires. As I pull off the smooth asphalt, the sound is grounding, real. I park the SUV in the shadow, away from the few pickup trucks and semi-trucks parked near the entrance. I kill the engine. Silence. Absolute, ringing silence. For a moment, I just sit there. The heat of the engine ticks and pings as it cools down. I look at my hands, and they are shaking. Not from fear anymore, but from the sheer magnitude of what I've done. I have severed the cord. I look at the diner. Through the window, I can see a silhouette moving behind the counter, pouring coffee. I take a deep breath, smooth down my wrinkled trench coat, and reach for the door handle. I don't know what I'm going to find in there. I don't know if I'm walking into a new beginning or just a pit stop on a road to disaster. But for the first time in 10 years, I don't have a meeting agenda. I open the car door and step out into the cool, biting night air. The ground feels unsteady beneath my heels, or maybe it's just me that's unsteady. I walk toward the light. The bell above the door announces my arrival with a cheerful ding that sounds aggressive in the quiet night. I step inside, and the first thing that hits me is the smell. It's a thick, comforting cocktail of brewing coffee, bacon grease, and old vinyl. It smells like America. Not the corporate America I live in, which smells like hand sanitizer and stress, but the real, messy, beating heart of the country. The door swings shut behind me, cutting off the wind and the darkness. I stand on the welcome mat for a second, hesitating. The fluorescent lights are buzzing overhead, casting a harsh, yellow glow on everything. The floor is checkered black and white, scuffed by thousands of boots. There are red vinyl booths lining the windows, most of them empty. I feel exposed. In my tailored trench coat and my Italian leather heels, I look like I've been photoshopped into this scene. I am a glitch in the matrix. I can feel the expensive fabric of my coat clinging to me, a reminder of the costume I'm still wearing. There are only 3 people in the diner. Behind the counter, a waitress. She's in her 60s maybe. Her hair is a dyed shade of auburn that's fading at the roots, pulled back in a clip. She's wearing a powder blue uniform that has seen better days. At the far end of the counter, hunched over a plate of eggs, is a man in a flannel shirt and a trucker hat. He's broad-shouldered, looking like he's made of the same gravel I just parked on. And then there's me, the runaway CEO. The waitress looks up from wiping down the counter. Her eyes scan me, not with judgment, but with a weary curiosity. She sees the coat. She sees the messy hair. She sees the lack of a handbag. She's been working the shift long enough to know the difference between a tourist and a fugitive. "Sit anywhere you like, hun," she calls out. Her voice is raspy like sandpaper over velvet. "Coffee's fresh." I nod, unable to speak yet. My throat feels dry. I walk past the empty booths and choose a stool at the counter, leaving 2 empty seats between me and the trucker. I sit down. The stool swivels slightly. The vinyl is cracked, taped over with silver duct tape. I run my finger over the tape. It feels rough, real. "What can I get you?" The waitress is standing in front of me now. Her name tag says Doris. I look at the laminated menu. Pancakes, meatloaf, cherry pie. "Just coffee, please," I say. My voice sounds foreign to my own ears. Smaller, black. Doris grabs a pot from the burner and pours. The steam rises up, hitting my face. It's hot and bitter. "You travelin' far?" she asks. It's the standard question, small talk. I wrap my hands around the warm mug. My fingers are still frozen from the steering wheel. "I don't know," I answer honestly. Doris pauses. The pot hovers in the air for a second. She looks at me, really looks at me. Then she gives a small, knowing smile. "Best kind of traveling," she says. "Maps just get you into arguments anyway." She puts the pot down and leans her hip against the counter. She's not in a rush. There's no line of customers, no manager watching the clock. "Bad night?" she asks. She gestures vaguely at my appearance. "Something like that," I whisper. The man at the end of the counter grunts. It's a low, rumbling sound. He turns his head slightly. His face is weathered, mapped with lines of exhaustion and sun exposure. He looks like he's seen every mile of highway between here and the Pacific Ocean. Bad night is when the engine blows 3 hours outside of Detroit in a snowstorm, the man says. He doesn't look at me, just stares into his coffee. This just looks like a detour. Doris rolls her eyes playfully. Don't mind Earl. He thinks anything that isn't a breakdown is a vacation. Earl takes a bite of his toast. Just saying, she's got a fancy car. I saw it pull in. People with fancy cars don't have bad nights. They have inconveniences. I should be offended. The old Emma, the one who fires people for incompetence, would have had a sharp comeback. Do you know how much pressure I'm under? Do you know what it's like to carry the weight of a company on your back? But tonight I just smile. A weak, tired smile. You're right, I say to Earl. It is just a detour, I hope. Earl looks at me then. His eyes are blue, piercingly bright in his tired face. He holds my gaze for a second, assessing me. Then he nods, a microscopic gesture of respect. Ooh. Where are you heading, really? Earl asks. West, I say. Away. Away is a big place, Earl mutters. Lots of room to get lost in away. Doris tops off Earl's coffee. Let the girl be, Earl. Sometimes you just gotta drive until the gas runs out. That's the problem, Earl says, tapping his spoon on the counter. Gas always runs out. Then you're just stuck on the side of the road with nothing but your own thoughts, and let me tell you, Missy, that's the worst company you can have. His words hit me like a physical blow. Stuck with your own thoughts. That's exactly what I'm running from. I'm running from the silence of my apartment. I'm running from the voice in my head that tells me I'm a fraud. I felt like life was happening to me, instead of me living it, I say suddenly. I don't know why I'm telling them this. Maybe because they are strangers. Maybe because I'll never see them again. I have everything I'm supposed to have, but I feel empty. Doris sighs. She takes a rag and starts wiping a spot on the counter that's already clean. Honey, Doris says softly, we get a lot of folks through here. Businessmen, families, kids running away from home. You know what I learned? I look up at her. What? Everyone's chasing a ghost, she says. You folks in the suits, you chase the money ghost. Earl here, he chases the horizon ghost. Me? I chased a man once, 30 years ago, thought he was the answer to all my prayers. She chuckles, a dry, humorless sound. Turns out he was just a man. He snored, he drank too much beer, and he left when things got hard. But I spent 10 years thinking my life wouldn't start until I caught him. She leans in closer. Life ain't about what you catch, sweetie. It's about who's sitting next to you while you're waiting. I look at the empty stool next to me. Who is sitting next to me? No one. I have thousands of contacts in my phone. I have millions of dollars in deals. But if I died tonight on this highway, who would be the first to notice? My assistant? Because I missed a meeting? The realization creates a hollow ache in my chest. Earl speaks up again. You got a picture. What? I ask. In your wallet. Or that fancy phone. You got a picture of someone? Someone who makes you smile without trying? I instinctively reach for my phone, which is still in the car, but then I think about my camera roll. What's in there? Screenshots of emails, photos of whiteboards from strategy sessions, a few selfies where I've angled my face to hide the dark circles, pictures of expensive dinners that I didn't enjoy. Do I have a picture of a person? I think back, way back. I used to, I say. My voice trembles. I think I deleted them. Earl shakes his head. That's your problem. You can't drive forward if you don't know who you're driving home to, even if home ain't a place. He stands up, fishing a crumpled $10 bill out of his pocket and throwing it on the counter. He adjusts his hat. You take care, Missy, Earl says. Don't drive too fast. The road keeps receipts. He walks out. The bell jingles again. Ding. And then he's gone. Just a ghost in the night. I sit there for a long time. The diner feels quieter without him. Doris moves to the other end of the counter to refill the sugar dispensers. I stare into my black coffee. The dark liquid reflects the overhead lights. It vibrates slightly every time a truck passes by on the highway outside. The road keeps receipts. What did he mean by that? I take a sip. The caffeine hits my system, sharpening my senses. I look around the diner again. On the wall near the jukebox, there's a corkboard. It's covered in business cards, flyers for lost dogs, and Polaroid photos. Pictures of regulars. Pictures of truckers who stopped by for Christmas. Pictures of Doris with a birthday cake. People smiling, people touching each other, arms around shoulders. It's a collage of ordinary, messy, beautiful life. And I am on the other side of the counter, watching it. I suddenly feel an intense urge to leave. The warmth of the diner is starting to feel suffocating. The truth in Doris's eyes is too much to handle. I can't sit here and let them see how broken I am. I dig into my pocket. I don't have cash. I only have a platinum credit card. Doris, I call out. Yeah, hun. Can I put this on a card? Doris laughs. Machine's been broken since '98. Don't worry about it. It's on the house. You look like you need the caffeine more than I need the $2. I feel a flush of shame. I have thousands of dollars available to me, but I can't pay for a $2 coffee. My currency is useless here. Thank you, I say. I won't forget this. You will, Doris says kindly, and that's okay. Just find what you're looking for. I slide off the stool. My legs feel heavy. I walk to the door. I pause with my hand on the brass handle. Doris? Did you ever regret it? Not chasing him? Doris stops wiping. She looks out the window at the darkness where Earl's truck just disappeared. Every damn day, she says softly. And then I pour another cup of coffee and life goes on. Her words hang in the air like smoke. I push the door open and step back out into the night. The cold air slaps me in the face. It's raining harder now. A cold, steady drizzle that soaks into my hair immediately. I walk back to my car. The SUV looks like a beast sleeping in the shadows. I get in and shut the door. The silence returns. But something has shifted. Earl's words and Doris's confession are echoing in my mind. Everyone's chasing a ghost. I start the engine. The dashboard lights up. I'm not ready to go back to the highway. Not yet. I look at the GPS screen. It's blank. I close my eyes and suddenly a memory hits me. It's not just a thought, it's a physical sensation. A smell of fresh water and autumn leaves. The sound of a saxophone. It wasn't always like this. There was a time before the suits, before the cage. There was a night by a lake, a night that changed everything, even if I didn't know it then. My hand moves to the gear shift, but I don't put it in drive. I just sit there, letting the rain drum against the roof. I need to go there. Not physically, it's thousands of miles away, but I need to go there in my mind. I need to understand where the fracture happened. Where did I lose the girl who used to carry a camera instead of a briefcase? The windshield wipers swipe back and forth. Swish, 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 swish. Like a metronome counting down to the past. I lean my head back and the diner fades away. The highway fades away. I'm traveling back. To the water, to the ghost by the lake. The rain on the roof of my SUV changes. It stops sounding like tapping fingers and starts sounding like waves. Heavy, dark waves crashing against the concrete walls of Lakeshore Drive. I am not in the diner parking lot anymore. I am not 34 years old. I am 26. It is Chicago, late October, the kind of night where the wind comes off Lake Michigan with teeth, biting through your coat, finding every gap in your scarf. It's the kind of cold that wakes you up and makes you feel incredibly, painfully alive. I'm sitting on a concrete ledge, my legs dangling over the dark water. The city skyline is behind me, a wall of diamonds and gold towering into the black sky. The Willis Tower, the Hancock Center, they look like guardians, or maybe jailers. And sitting next to me is Mark. I can see him so clearly it makes my chest ache. He's wearing that old denim jacket with the fleece lining, the one that smelled like darkroom chemicals and cedarwood. He has his camera in his lap, a battered Canon AE1 that he bought at a pawn shop. He's fiddling with the lens cap, snapping it on and off. Click, click, click. He isn't looking at me. He's looking at the water. This is the night the timeline split. I remember how I felt that evening. I felt powerful. I was holding a letter in my purse, an offer letter from the firm in New York. It was everything I had worked for. It was the golden ticket. I thought I was sitting there to celebrate. I thought Mark would be happy for me. But the air between us is heavy. It's thick with the things we aren't saying. Somewhere down the path, a street performer is playing a saxophone. It's a slow, dragging blues tune. A song about rivers, anchors, and things that drift away. The notes float on the wind, wrapping around us like a shroud. So, Mark says finally. His voice is low, barely audible over the wind. New York. I pull my coat tighter around myself. It's a huge opportunity, Mark, Junior VP. Do you know how rare that is for someone my age? I know, he says. He still doesn't look at me. I know you're good at what you do, Emma. You're the best. Then why do you sound like I just told you someone died? I ask. My voice is sharp, defensive. I was so ready to fight back then. I was so ready to defend my ambition as if it were a child. Mark stops playing with the lens cap. He turns to look at me. Under the orange glow of the street lamps, his eyes look dark, almost black. Because you're leaving, he says simply. I'm not leaving you, I lie. It's just distance. We can make it work. People do it all the time. Flights are cheap. FaceTime exists. Mark laughs. It's a dry, hollow sound. Emma, look at where we are. He gestures to the lake, to the vast, empty darkness stretching out before us. You're looking at the skyline behind us. You're looking at the lights, the height, the climb. I'm looking at the water. I'm looking at the horizon. What does that even mean? I snap. It means we're watching two different movies, he says softly. You want to conquer the world. I just want to live in it. I remember the anger that flared up in me. I felt like he was holding me back. I felt like he was an anchor, dragging on the seafloor, trying to stop my ship from sailing. You think I'm shallow, I accuse him. You think because I want success, because I want security, that I'm selling out. No, Mark says. He reaches out and takes my hand. His hand is rough, warm, calloused from working with his hands. My hand is smooth, manicured, cold. When he touches me, the memory becomes so vivid I can physically feel the ghost of his warmth on my skin right now. 8 years later in this car. I don't think you're shallow, he says. I think you're scared. Scared of what? Scared of being ordinary, he whispers. Scared that if you stop running, if you stop climbing, you'll realize that just being is enough. You think you need to earn your place on this earth, Emma. You think if you don't have a title, you don't exist. His words hit me like a slap in the face, because he was right. God, he was so right. I pull my hand away. I'm going to New York, Mark. The flight is on Tuesday. Mark nods slowly. He puts the lens cap back on his camera. Click. A finality. I know, he says. I'm not going to ask you to stay. Why not? The question slips out before I can stop it. A part of me, the part that loved him, wanted him to fight, wanted him to beg, wanted him to say, choose me, forget the job, choose us. But he doesn't. Because, he says, looking back at the water, if I have to ask you to choose me over a job I've already lost. And we can't have everything, Emma. That's the lie they sell you. They tell you that you can have the career, the power, the love, the soul, but you can't. You have to pay for everything. The currency is time. The currency is pieces of yourself. He stands up. The wind whips his hair across his face. He looks like a tragic hero from one of those French New Wave films I pretend to understand. You have to go, he says. It's who you are. You're a shark, Emma. If you stop moving, you drown. I'm just a guy who likes to watch the waves. He leans down and kisses me on the forehead. It's not a romantic kiss. It's a goodbye. It's a benediction. It burns my skin. Be happy, Em, he says. I really hope the view from the top is worth the climb. And then he walks away. He doesn't look back. He just walks down the concrete path, his boots scuffing against the pavement, his figure getting smaller and smaller until he disappears into the shadows of the park. I sat there for another hour, alone. I watched the waves. I listened to that saxophone player until he packed up his case and left. I told myself I made the right choice. I told myself that Mark was just a chapter, a college romance that I had outgrown. I told myself that love was a chemical reaction, but a career was a legacy. I was so arrogant. I was so young. I didn't know then that I was leaving the only person who ever saw me. Not the potential VP, not the straight-A student, but me, the girl who liked burnt toast, the girl who cried at dog food commercials, the girl who was terrified of thunder. He took all of those versions of me with him when he walked away, and I was left with the shell, the armor, sound design cue. The sound of the saxophone fades abruptly. The sound of rain on the car roof returns, loud, insistent. I open my eyes. I'm back in the car. The diner lights are blurring through the rain-streaked windshield. My hands are gripping the steering wheel so hard they hurt. My face is wet, tears, hot, angry tears. The view from the top, I whisper to the empty car. I laugh, a broken, choking sound. Mark, if you could see me now. I made it to the top. I have the penthouse. I have the view. And it's so cold up there. It's so quiet. That night by the lake. That was the moment. That was the fork in the road. I chose the path of more money, more prestige, more validation. But Mark was right. We pay for everything. I paid with my happiness. I paid with my peace. I paid with the ability to sit by a lake and just be. I think about what the waitress Doris said. Everyone's chasing a ghost. Mark is my ghost. Not because he's dead. I don't even know where he is. He's probably living in a cabin in Montana, or maybe he's a teacher in Vermont. He's a ghost because he represents the life I didn't choose, the life where I was enough, just as I was. And the worst part, the part that haunts me every time the silence gets too loud, I think I seek out people like Mark, people with soul, people with art, because I'm trying to steal a little bit of their light. I'm a moth drawn to the flame, but I'm too afraid to burn, so I just hover until the fire goes out. We project our own desires onto others. I loved Mark because he was free. I wanted to be free, but instead of freeing myself, I tried to consume his freedom. And when I couldn't, I left. Leaving is a responsibility, isn't it? That's what I tell myself. Moving on is brave. But is it bravery? Or is it cowardice dressed up in a Prada suit? I look at my reflection in the rearview mirror. My eyes are red. My mascara is smudged. I look like a mess. But for the first time in years, I recognize the person looking back at me. It's the girl from the lake. She's been trapped under layers of corporate polish for a decade, screaming to get out. I'm sorry, I whisper. I don't know if I'm talking to Mark or to the girl in the mirror. I'm so sorry. I can't stay here in this parking lot. The memory is too loud here. The ghost is sitting in the passenger seat again. I need to keep moving. I need to put miles between me and that lake in Chicago. But now, the journey feels different. It's not just an escape anymore. It's a penance. I put the car in gear. The engine hums, a steady, reliable heartbeat. I pull out of the diner parking lot, back onto the dark, wet highway. The headlights cut through the night, illuminating the falling rain like sparks. I don't know where I'm going, but I know what I'm carrying now. I'm carrying a heavy backpack of regrets, and I have a feeling I'm not the only one. The road ahead is long, and I'm starting to realize this isn't just about a lost love. It's about everyone I've ever met. It's about the heavy backpacks we all carry, hidden under our coats, hidden behind our smiles. As I drive, I start thinking about the others, the people who didn't leave, the people who stayed and fought different battles. What about them? 3 a.m. Do you know this hour? The witching hour, they call it. But it's not about witches or ghosts, it's about truth. At 3 a.m., the world stops pretending. The masks slip off. The filters on Instagram don't matter because no one is scrolling. The emails stop pinging. And in that silence, you are left with the only thing you can't outrun, the weight you carry. I'm driving through a small town now. I don't know the name of it. Just a main street with a single traffic light, blinking yellow. Blink, blink, blink. Caution. The houses are dark. Rows of neat little lawns, fences, driveways with basketball hoops. It looks peaceful. It looks like the American dream sleeping soundly. But then, I see it. A single light. It's in the upstairs window of a beige colonial house. A soft, bluish glow. Maybe a television. Maybe a nursery nightlight. Maybe someone staring at a ceiling fan, unable to sleep. I slow down as I pass that house. My heart tugs toward that stranger in the window. Why are you awake? Are you like me? Are you running from something, or are you waiting for something that's never going to come? This drive, it's doing something to my head. It's stripping away my ego. For the last 10 years, I thought my pain was special. I thought my stress was unique because I was important. I was the CEO. I had the stakes. But as I drive past this sleeping town, thinking about Mark, thinking about Doris at the diner, I realize something that hits me harder than the cold air outside. I'm not special. I'm just one of millions. We are all walking around with these invisible, heavy backpacks. We strap them on every morning when we wake up. We smile, we grab our coffee, we say, I'm good, thanks, and we march forward. But the weight, God, the weight is crushing us. I think about the people I left behind in the city, the people I envied, the people I judged. Take Jason. He sits 2 offices down from me. VP of sales. The guy has a jawline that could cut glass, a wife who used to be a model, and a house in the Hamptons. Every time I saw him, I felt a twinge of jealousy. He looked so effortless. But I remember one night, about 6 months ago, I was working late. I walked past his office. The door was cracked open. Jason was sitting at his desk, head in his hands. The lights were off, just the glow of his monitor illuminating his face. He wasn't working. He was looking at a spreadsheet of his kids' tuition fees and his mortgage payments. I heard him let out a breath that sounded like a tire deflating, a breath of pure terror. He looked up and saw me. Immediately, the mask slammed back into place. He smiled, that winning, shark-like smile. Hey, Emma, just crushing some numbers. You know how it is. Grinding. He wasn't grinding, he was drowning. He's terrified that one bad quarter, one missed target, and the house of cards collapses. He's not working because he loves the job. He's working because he's trapped by the lifestyle he built. He's a prisoner in a cell made of gold. That's one kind of backpack. The backpack of the golden handcuffs. Then I think about Sarah, my old friend, the one I stopped calling. I checked her Facebook page right before I turned my phone off tonight. Photos of her family. Happy anniversary to my soulmate. Best vacation ever. Love my life. But I know Sarah. I know that 3 years ago, she called me drunk at 2 a.m., crying because her husband hadn't touched her in months. She told me she felt invisible in her own house. She told me she sits in the bathroom with the shower running, just so she can cry without her kids hearing. But on the timeline, she's the happiest woman alive. That's another backpack. The backpack of the performance, the exhausting, heavy burden of pretending everything is perfect because to admit you're unhappy is to admit you failed. And then there's the heaviest backpack of all, the one that so many of us in this generation carry, especially those of us who moved away, who chased the dream in big cities or across borders. I think about my assistant, Maya. She's brilliant, young, from a small town in Ohio, or maybe she's from another country entirely. I never really asked. I just asked for the reports. But I remember she took a week off last month. Her mother was sick, cancer. Maya came back to work after 5 days. She looked thinner. Her eyes were hollow. I asked her, "Is everything okay?" She said, "She's stable. I have to be here. I have to pay the medical bills." I nodded and gave her more work. I didn't think about what her nights are like. I didn't think about the terror of the phone ringing late at night, the guilt of being 1,000 miles away when your parents are aging, the feeling that you sold your time with them for a paycheck that barely covers the rent. We are a generation of orphans by choice. We left home to make it, and now we are haunted by the empty chairs at the dinner tables we left behind. We send money, we send gifts, we send miss you texts, but we can't send time, we can't email a hug. And that guilt, it's a stone in the bottom of the backpack that drags on the ground, making every step harder. I grip the steering wheel. My knuckles are white. Why do we do it? Why do we convince ourselves that this is living? I pass a sign. Rest area 1 mile. I need to stop. The thoughts are getting too loud. The cabin of the SUV feels like it's shrinking. I pull into the rest area. It's desolate. Just a concrete block of bathrooms and a few vending machines glowing in the dark. There's only one other vehicle here, a beat-up sedan, overloaded with boxes. The back window is blocked by suitcases. I park a few spots away. I kill the engine. I look over at the sedan. In the driver's seat, there's a girl. She looks young, maybe 22. She's asleep. Her head is pressed against the window, cushioned by a rolled-up hoodie. Her mouth is slightly open. She looks exhausted. On the dashboard, her bare feet are propped up, and next to her feet, there's a cat carrier. She's moving, or running away, or starting over. She has her backpack too. Maybe she's fleeing a bad relationship. Maybe she couldn't afford rent anymore. Maybe she just graduated and realized the degree she paid $50,000 for is useless, and now she's going home to her parents' basement. I feel a sudden, overwhelming wave of tenderness for her. I want to get out of my car, knock on her window, and tell her, "It's okay, you're not failing, you're just surviving." But I don't. I can't wake her. Sleep is the only mercy she has right now. Instead, I lean my head back against my seat. It's strange. I used to look at people who were struggling, people with debt, people with messy lives, and I used to think, why don't they just work harder? Why don't they just fix it? What a cruel, arrogant thought. Now I know. You can't just fix a system that is designed to drain you. You can't just work harder when the emotional weight you're carrying is breaking your spine. We are all just walking wounded. The CEO in the penthouse, the girl sleeping in her car, the mother crying in the shower, the son waiting for the phone call from the hospital. We are all connected by this secret suffering. We are all looking for a place to set the backpack down, even just for a minute. And that's what this drive is, isn't it? I'm not just driving to a location, I'm looking for a place to put the weight down. I look at the horizon. The sky is still black, but there's a subtle shift in the color, a deep, bruised purple at the very edge of the world. Dawn is coming. But before the sun comes up, before the light exposes everything again, I have a decision to make. I can't carry this anymore. I can't carry the expectations. I can't carry the ego. I can't carry the ghost of Mark, or the guilt of leaving my parents, or the pressure to be perfect Emma. I have to leave something behind on this roadside. If I want to see the sunrise, really see it the way Mark used to see it, I have to be lighter. I reach over to the passenger seat. My briefcase is there. The leather is soft, expensive. Inside are the contracts, the laptop with the confidential data, the ID badge that opens the doors to the ivory tower. It represents my safety, my identity, my success. I look at it, and then I look at the sleeping girl in the car next to me. She has nothing but boxes and a cat, and yet she's sleeping. She's peaceful. I unzip the briefcase. My heart starts hammering again. This is dangerous. This is irreversible. I take out my company ID badge. It has my photo on it. I look serious in the photo, professional, dead behind the eyes. I roll down the window. The air is freezing. I hold the badge out. The plastic feels cold in my fingers. Let go, a voice whispers. It's heavy. Just let go. But can I really just throw away who I am? If I drop this, I'm not a CEO anymore. I'm just a woman in a car. I'm nobody. And isn't that terrifying? To be nobody. Or is it freedom? I think about the happy ending in movies. The girl gets the job, gets the guy, gets the apartment. But maybe the real happy ending is the moment you realize you don't need any of those things to be whole. Maybe the happy ending is just silence and the courage to be alone with yourself. My fingers loosen. The badge falls. It hits the pavement with a tiny, insignificant clatter. I wait for the regret. I wait for the panic, but it doesn't come. Instead, I feel a sudden sharp intake of breath. My lungs expand. I can breathe. I can actually breathe. One item down, 1,000 pounds lighter, but the briefcase is still full and the road is still long. I look at the purple line on the horizon. It's getting brighter. A faint bloody orange is bleeding into the sky. I start the engine. The sound startles a crow on a nearby lamppost. I cast one last look at the sleeping girl. Sleep well, warrior, I think. We're in this together. I pull out of the rest area. I am lighter now, but I am also defenseless. I have stripped away the armor. Now, I have to learn how to walk without it. I have to learn how to leave the rest of it behind, because the sun is coming, and I need to be ready to face it naked. The sky is no longer black. It has shifted into a bruised, deep indigo, the blue hour. That strange, suspended moment between the dream and the waking world. The streetlights are flickering off, one by one, surrendering to the coming day. I am driving through a valley now. The landscape has opened up. No more buildings, no more suburbs, just vast, rolling fields covered in mist, and mountains rising up like sleeping giants in the distance. I feel raw. Dropping that ID badge at the rest stop felt like shedding a layer of skin. It stung. It left a mark, but the air hitting that new skin feels different. It feels sharp. But I'm not done yet. There is one more thing, one last anchor dragging on the ocean floor, keeping me tethered to the harbor I'm trying to leave. I look over at the passenger seat. The phone. It's still black, still powered off, but even in its silence, it screams at me. It is a small, rectangular block of glass and metal, but it weighs more than the car itself. Inside that device lives Emma, the digital Emma, the curated Emma, the Emma who answers emails at 11 p.m. within 3 minutes, the Emma who likes photos of babies she doesn't care about, the Emma who tracks her sleep, tracks her steps, tracks her calories, tracks her net worth. As long as that phone is in the car, I am not free. I am just on a long leash. I know that the moment I turn it on, the world will flood back in. The notifications will pile up like rising floodwater. the guilt trips, the panic, the "where are you" texts. And if I see them, I will turn back. I know I will, because guilt is a powerful drug, and I have been addicted to it for 10 years. I have a choice to make. And this time, it's not just about a job, it's about existence. I think about what I used to tell myself in therapy sessions that I paid $300 an hour for. I used to say, I can't just quit. People depend on me. It would be irresponsible. Irresponsible. That word has been the cage bars of my life. But as I drive through this blue mist, I realize something profound, something that goes against everything we are taught in school, everything we are taught by our parents. Sometimes leaving is the most responsible thing you can do, because if you stay in a job that kills your soul, or a relationship that makes you lonely, or a city that suffocates you, you are rotting. And a rotting person cannot help anyone. You become bitter. You become toxic. You become a shadow. Is it responsible to stay and let yourself slowly die? Or is it responsible to save the only life you actually own? I see a pull-off ahead, a gravel patch overlooking a river that cuts through the valley. The water is churning, gray and white, rushing over rocks. My heart kicks against my ribs. Thump, 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 thump. This is it. I pull the SUV over. The gravel crunches loudly, sounding like gunfire in the quiet morning. I put the car in park. I pick up the phone. It feels cold, sleek, perfect. I step out of the car. The wind is strong here. It whips my hair across my face. It smells of ozone and wet stone. The river is loud, a roaring, constant force that doesn't care about stock markets or deadlines. I walk to the edge of the embankment. There's a guardrail, rusted and old. I lean against it. I look down at the phone in my hand. My thumb hovers over the power button. Part of me, the terrified part, wants to turn it on, just for 1 second, just to send one message. So, to Mom, I'm alive. Don't worry. To the office, I quit. To Mark, you were right, but I know I can't. If I send a message, I am starting a conversation, and I don't want to talk anymore. I want to listen. I want to listen to the river. I want to listen to my own heartbeat. The sunk cost fallacy. That's a business term. It means you keep investing in a failing project just because you've already spent so much money on it. You're afraid to walk away because you don't want to admit the investment was a waste. My life, my old life, is a sunk cost. I spent 10 years building a career I hate. I spent 5 years in a city that makes me lonely. And I kept telling myself, just one more year, just one more promotion, then it will be worth it. It will never be worth it. Walking away isn't wasting those 10 years. Walking away is saving the next 40. I look at the dark screen of the phone. I see my reflection in it, distorted, ghostly. Goodbye, Emma, I whisper. I don't say it with anger. I say it with grief, because I am killing a version of myself. And even if she was unhappy, she was familiar. I knew her. Now I am about to meet a stranger. I pull my arm back. My brain screams, "Are you crazy? That's $1,000 phone. That's your GPS. That's your bank access. That's your lifeline." "No," my heart answers. "That's your leash." I throw it. I put everything I have into the motion, all the frustration, all the uncried tears, all the fake smiles. The phone arcs through the air. For a second, it looks like a black bird taking flight against the indigo sky. It spins, catching a glint of the fading moonlight. And then splash. It hits the turbulent water. It doesn't even make a big splash. The river swallows it instantly, gone, buried under the white foam, rushing downstream toward the ocean. I stand there, gripping the rusty guardrail. I wait for the panic attack. I wait for the regret to buckle my knees. I close my eyes and wait, but the panic doesn't come. Instead, silence, real silence. Not the silence of an empty room, but the silence of a quiet mind. No one can reach me. No one can track me. No one can demand anything from me. I am invisible. A laugh bubbles up in my chest. It starts low and erupts into the cold air. It's a wild sound. I feel light, physically light, like gravity just lost half its pull on me. I am untethered. I look at my hands. They are empty. They are shaking slightly, but they are empty. They are ready to hold something new. I turn around and look at my car. The SUV looks out of place here. It's too clean, too shiny, but it's just a tool now. It's not a status symbol. It's just a vessel to get me to the sun. I get back in the driver's seat. The interior feels different now. The absence of the phone on the passenger seat is palpable. It's a void, but it's a good void. It's space. Space to breathe. Space to think. I start the engine. I don't have a GPS anymore. I don't have a blue line telling me where to turn. I don't have a robotic voice recalculating my route. I have to rely on something I haven't used in years. Instinct. I look at the road ahead. The mist is lifting. The indigo is turning into a soft, pale violet. I drive. And as I drive, I start to think about what comes next. The scariest part of walking away isn't the leaving itself. It's the after. Movies end when the character drives off into the sunset. The credits roll. We assume they lived happily ever after. But real life doesn't have credits. What happens tomorrow? What happens when the money runs out? What happens when the loneliness sets in? I don't know. And for the first time in my life, I don't know doesn't terrify me. It excites me. I don't know is a blank canvas. I think about the people who are still holding on, the people gripping their phones, checking their likes, refreshing their emails, terrified to miss a beat. I want to tell them, let go. It hurts. It feels like dying, but it's the only way to be born again. Leaving is a responsibility. You owe it to yourself to leave the table when love is no longer being served. You owe it to yourself to walk out of the room when your voice is no longer being heard. You owe it to yourself to step off the ledge. I take a deep breath. The air in the car smells like freedom. I am driving toward the light. The mountains are getting closer. They are purple and majestic, capped with the last of the winter snow. And right above the jagged peaks, I see it. A crack of gold, just a sliver, a hint, a promise. The sun is coming, and this time I'm not watching it through an office window. I'm not watching it on a friend's Instagram story. I'm not watching it while rushing to the subway. I am running right into it. My heart starts to race, but it's a good rhythm. It's the rhythm of anticipation. Oh, this is the final stretch. I have stripped away the title ICO. I have stripped away the badge. I have stripped away the digital leash. There is nothing left between me and the world. I am just a girl in a car chasing the morning. And I have a feeling that when that sun finally breaks over the mountain, I'm going to find the answer to the question that I've been asking all my life. Am I enough? The light is getting brighter. It's blinding. It's beautiful. I press the gas pedal. Let's go find out. The road ends here. Literally, the pavement just stops. I've driven as far as the SUV can take me. I'm parked on a ridge, thousands of feet above sea level. Below me, the valley is still drowning in shadow, a bowl of blue mist. But up here, the air is thin and crystal clear. It tastes like ice and pine needles. I open the door. My legs are shaking as I step out. Not from fear this time, from exhaustion, from anticipation. My body feels light, hollowed out like a reed, waiting for the wind to blow through it. I leave the keys in the ignition. I don't know why I do it. Maybe for the next person who finds this car. Maybe because I know, deep down, I'm not driving back down that mountain today. I wrap my trench coat tighter around me. It's freezing, the kind of cold that snaps your skin tight. I start walking. There's a trail leading up to the peak, a narrow, rocky path. I'm wearing Italian leather heels. Ridiculous. I take them off. I leave them right there, next to the front tire of the car, a pair of $800 shoes abandoned in the dirt. I walk barefoot. The ground is freezing, sharp, unforgiving. The stones dig into my soles. It hurts, but it's a good hurt. It wakes up nerves that have been asleep for years. Every step is a reminder. I am here. I am solid. I am feeling. I climb. My breath creates clouds of white steam in the air. Huff, huff. I'm panting. My heart is hammering against my ribs, loud and wild. Come on, Emma, just a little higher. I need to see it. I need to see the moment the world turns over. I scramble over a large boulder, scraping my palm. I don't care. I pull myself up to the highest ledge, and then I stop. I'm standing on the edge of the world. In front of me, the horizon is a jagged line of mountain peaks stretching out forever, and behind them, the sky is on fire. It starts as a deep, blood-red line, then it bleeds into tangerine, into rose gold, into a blinding, searing yellow, and then it happens. The sun breaks the ridge. It's not gentle. It's violent. It's glorious. A spear of pure white light shoots across the miles, cutting through the shadows, hitting the snow on the peaks, turning everything into diamonds. The light hits my face. It blinds me. I have to squint, tears streaming down my cheeks immediately. The warmth hits my skin, a physical force. It travels through my eyelids, down my throat, into my chest. It burns away the rest of the shadows inside me. I fall to my knees, not in prayer, but in surrender. I am sobbing, great heaving sobs that shake my entire body. I'm crying for the little girl who wanted to be an explorer. I'm crying for the woman who spent 10 years staring at a spreadsheet. I'm crying for Mark. I'm crying for the parents I left behind. But mostly I'm crying because of the relief, the sheer, overwhelming relief of realizing that the world kept spinning without me. I turned off my phone, I threw away my badge, I disappeared. And look at this. The sun still rose, the birds are still singing, the wind is still blowing. The universe didn't collapse because Emma missed a meeting. The universe didn't care about my title. The universe just wanted me to be here right now to witness this. I sit there for a long time, watching the sun climb higher. I let the light dry the tears on my face. I think about the concept of the happy ending. We are raised on stories, aren't we? Especially in this country. We are told that the happy ending looks a certain way. It looks like the corner office. It looks like the diamond ring. It looks like the perfect credit score. We are told that if we struggle enough, if we sacrifice enough, if we give up enough of ourselves, eventually the credits will roll and we will be happy. But that's the scam. That's the great American lie. Happiness isn't a destination you arrive at after you've paid your dues. Happiness isn't something you get. Happiness is the absence of the noise. It's It's the cold dirt under my bare feet. It's the heat of the sun on my face. It's the knowledge that I don't have to be anyone other than who I am in this exact second. I think about the people back in the city. Right now, Jason is probably waking up, checking his stocks, feeling that knot of anxiety in his stomach. Right now, Sarah is probably posting a picture of her latte, filtering out the mess in her kitchen. Right now, my assistant is probably staring at my empty chair, wondering where I am. They will call, they will panic, they will file a missing persons report. Where is Emma? She had it all. Why would she leave? They will come up with theories. She had a breakdown. She was kidnapped. She lost her mind. Let them talk. Let them theorize. They can't understand that I didn't lose my mind. I found it. I look at my hands. My palms are dirty. My nails are chipped. I feel beautiful. For the first time in my life, I don't feel like a product. I feel like a person. I know I can't stay on this mountain forever. The cold will eventually get to me. I will get hungry. I will need to go back down to the valley. But I won't go back to the life I left. Maybe I'll drive until the gas runs out and then leave the car. Maybe I'll find a small town, one of those places with a single diner and a library. Maybe I'll get a job waiting tables. Maybe I'll learn how to paint. Maybe I'll just walk. I don't know. And the beauty is, I don't need to know. I have spent my whole life planning 5 years in advance. Now I am planning 5 minutes in advance. Step 1, stand up. Step 2, breathe. Step 3, live. I stand up. My legs are steady now. The sun is fully up, hanging in the sky like a golden coin. I look back at the trail I came up. I look down at the SUV, which looks like a tiny toy car from this height. I think about the ghosts. If Mark is out there somewhere, if he's watching the same sun, I hope he feels it. I hope he knows that I finally understand. The currency is time, he said. I'm done spending my currency on things that don't matter. From today on, I am only buying sunsets. I am only buying conversations that matter. I am only buying silence. This isn't a tragedy. This isn't a sad story about a woman who gave up. This is a love story. It's just not the kind you're used to. It's a story about a woman who fell in love with her own life again, just in the nick of time. I take a deep breath, filling my lungs with the thin, holy air. I am ready. Not for the meeting, not for the deadline. I am ready for the day. This is my confession, and this is my goodbye. To the city, to the stress, to the expectations, to the should-haves and could-haves, goodbye. You know, I can imagine them. I can imagine the people from my old life gathering around my empty desk years from now, maybe on a rainy Tuesday. Maybe a new intern will ask, what happened to her? The woman who used to run this place. And maybe one of the older executives, someone who remembers the day I vanished, will look out the window at the gray skyline and sigh. They will wonder if I'm coming back. They will wonder if I realized my mistake. They imagine me crawling back, begging for my old life, realizing that the wild is too scary. They might ask the air, hoping for an answer. Do you think she'll ever come back? Do you think she misses it? Will she return? And if I could whisper to them from this mountaintop, if I could send a message on the wind that travels all those miles back to the steel and glass cage, I would smile, take a sip of the cold mountain air, and say, I won't need to come back because I finally arrived. I'm not a memory to be pitied. I'm a legend to be whispered. I turn my back on the view. I start walking down the other side of the ridge, into the unknown, into the wild, into the light. I am Emma. And for the first time, I am free.